Although every culture has its own unique history and feats of accomplishment, almost all of them share the same problem. That problem revolves around gender issues and the lack of opportunities and status given to women. For centuries, women were seen as only the supporters of men and therefore were not given the right to vote, a say in affairs, and often had the credit taken away from them when they made amazing discoveries. As a result, many came to believe that women were not as intelligent or strong as men could possibly be. However, that is anything but the truth. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 women who showed incredible acts of bravery and give them the recognition they deserve. Simone Seigneur. Our story today begins with a teenage resistance fighter named Simone Seigneur. She was born in 1925 near Paris and considered herself a tomboy, learning how to fight from her 3 brothers. Her dad was a farmer who was a medal-winning soldier during the First World War. When the Germans began to invade France on the onslaught of the Second World War in 1940, Simone was only a teenage girl. Yet she couldn't help but feel so patriotic that she was determined to help the cause, even if it was dangerous. Quickly, she found a way to join a resistance group named the Francs Tireurs et Partisans, and named herself Nicole Minet under a nom de guerre. Nicole Minet became her new identity, showing that she was from the Channel port of Dunkirk on her fake identity papers. Luckily, she was able to escape verification when the port was previously bombed up. During her time as Nicole, Simone bravely flew into action. One morning in 1944, she slashed the tires of German soldier bicycles and even stole one away. She would later repaint the bike and use it as her reconnaissance vehicle to send secret messages between resistance factions without attracting too much attention. During the war, she also fell in love at just the age of 18. She became a messenger because of a resistance commander named Roland Boursier, whom she met in the countryside near her village of Teva. Within the resistance, members helped to train her to use weapons, such as the Schmeisser MP-40 submachine gun, which was stolen from a German soldier. She also aided the movement by looking out for sabotage targets and joined in on the missions to attack German soldiers and infrastructure. One of her fondest moments was when she had arrested 25 German soldiers, which gave her great hope that they'd have their country back. She found much of that hope when she worked together with the French 2nd Armoured Division to liberate the city of Chartres, home of the famous cathedral. The future president, General Charles de Gaulle, gave a speech to celebrate the city's newfound freedom. As journalists busily captured the event, they were intrigued by Simone eating a baguette smeared with jam, her machine gun by her side. Many publications interviewed and featured her, including famous photographer Robert Capa from Life magazine. Soon after the war, Simone not only became a symbol of women in the resistance, but was also promoted to lieutenant and awarded the Croix de Guerre. She became a pediatric nurse, and while she never married Roland, she had 6 children with him. Later, she was presented with an international award. As a 94-year-old woman, she still lives on with her incredibly brave legacy. Buffalo Calf Road women. Buffalo Calf Road was a Native American woman who was a part of the Cheyenne tribe during the late 1800s. At this point in American history, Native Americans had their land and resources threatened by colonizers who wanted to expand their territory in the Great Plains. Throughout attacks, removals, and massacres, Buffalo Calf Road was caught in it all. Her journey began at the Battle of the Rosebud. She joined her tribe warriors to stop General Crook as his men advanced toward their village. Even though some people objected to her joining, she fought as hard as she could. At one point, she saw her brother, named Comes in sight, trapped in a gully as soldiers marched toward him. Dodging the flying bullets, Calf ran on her horse and pulled her brother up in an epic rescue to safety, even when other warriors thought it was too impossible. In her honor, her tribespeople named the battle where the girl saved her brother, and she was given the name Brave Woman. After one more victorious battle against General George Armstrong Custer's troops, the Cheyenne tribe was attacked again a few months later. This time, over 40 warriors were attacked, leaving them wounded or in a fatal position. At the end of the day, the tribe had no homes as their village was completely burned. They were forced to flee without food, clothing, or blankets through a huge snowstorm that froze 11 infants in the freezing cold. Even though they were left with nothing, the colonizers still chased them down. As time went on, many Cheyenne surrendered, but Buffalo Calf Road still held out with a group of 30 Cheyenne hostiles, even though she was pregnant. As conditions worsened, Calf even had a second child. But eventually, the group surrendered and was driven south, even though they were promised their own land. After a forced march, they came to an unfamiliar land with conditions so poor that they determined to go back home. 300 warriors, including Calf, escaped by foot for 1,500 miles, all while hungry and utterly exhausted from multiple battles. Once they reached the north, two groups split over disagreements. The group that did not include Calf ended up being attacked by the army, while her group was able to go into hiding. That was until Calf's husband attacked another member during an argument and was banished. Calf joined him, but at the very end, both groups were captured. Buffalo Calf Road herself was put into a prison at Fort Keogh, where she later passed away from diphtheria. Although she couldn't live to see her Cheyenne tribe finally gain their own land in 1884, her acts of bravery and defending her tribe will be forever remembered. Bessie Coleman. Bessie Coleman was the very first African-American woman and of Native American descent to hold a pilot's license in the world. During her childhood, throughout the late 1800s and early 1900s, she endured a period of abundant discrimination and poverty. Her school in Texas was only a one-room wooden shack that took her 4 miles to walk to. When she decided to move to Chicago and later desired to learn how to fly, the stigma from her gender and race did not help in America. From hearing people trying to talk her out of it to the flying school that ultimately rejected her just because of her gender and race, she decided to train in France in 1920. As the only non-white person in her class, it took her 7 months to learn how to fly. She was taught in a small 27-foot biplane that was notoriously known to fail, even in the air. Bessie even witnessed a classmate who passed away in a plane crash. Although it scared her, she did not give up. In 1921, she was finally granted an international pilot's license. Upon returning home, many reporters featured her, and she was celebrated as the first African-American female pilot. From there, she did countless air shows. Her first performance took place in 1922 in Long Island, where almost 3,000 people were present. She used her position later to encourage other African Americans to fly and stood up to discrimination by refusing to perform where black people were not allowed. Bessie enjoyed a brave and successful career until 1926 in Florida, where she had her last flight. Along with a Texan mechanic, she was getting ready for an air show when, at 3,500 feet in the air, a loose wrench got caught in the control gears and the plane fell. Bessie Coleman tragically passed away that day. Over 10,000 people attended her funeral, including equal rights activist Ida B. Wells. In the decades following, an annual flyover of the grave was started, as well as a Bessie Coleman Aviators Club. A stamp of her was also issued in 1992. Years since her devastating passing away, Bessie Coleman's legacy of bravery continues to inspire many to defeat the odds and succeed. But what do you make of these 3 incredible women and their acts of bravery? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.